Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah. Subhanaka Rabbi, Subhanak, Subhanak ma a'zama shanak. سبحانك ربي سبحانك سبحانك ما أعظم شانك ندعوك ونرجو غفرانك ندعوك ونرجو غفرانك ربي سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحانك ربي سبحانك سبحانك ما أعظم شانك سبحانك ربي سبحانك سبحانك ما أعظم شانك ندعوك ونرجو غفرانك ندعوك ونرجو غفرانك ربي.
Welcome back from Salat. May Allah accept it as an act of ibadah from each and every one of us. Let us settle down. The program continues. As we were told earlier, Imam Najim Jimo is unavoidably absent. So we have only Princess Raliat Ibrahim Oyetunde, and I'm going to yield the floor to her now. Princess Oyetunde. Yes. You have a 10 minutes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are still making noise, so. We are making noise. A princess is standing before you. So can we keep quiet? So I am going to greet again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah accept all our prayers. May Allah accept all our discussions. May Allah bless our fathers. May Allah make it easy for them in discharging their duties as husbands and as fathers. May Allah also bless us and make it easy for us to discharge our duties as mothers, wives, sisters, and friends. I'm supposed to be discussing coping as a co-wife in Islam. I'm going to speak from my experience, and I'm going to speak from my mind. So I might be a bit unorthodox, so please indulge me, because I'm going to be very open, and I'm going to be very practical. Because one of the reasons I accepted to speak today, because the only person I shy away from and respect, my dear Imam, reached out to me. If not for Imam Lemu, I wouldn't stand here and speak on this topic. My sole reason is we are hypocritical when it comes to polygyny in Islam, especially among my sisters. So I shy away from speaking to an audience that is not ready to listen to the truth. So in advance, I crave your indulgence. At the end of the 10 minutes, you either like me or you hate me, but I will have done my duty and hope that Allah forgives me my shortcomings, and I will have told you the truth as it is in black and white. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Raliat Ibrahim Oyetunde, a native of Kogi, married to a Kwaran. So, born and brought up in Kwara. So I come from ethnic city, Igbira. My people love and thrive in polygyny. If you know Igbira people, when you want to know that our men have money, they show it by the number of wives. So, I was born into polygamy. My parents, but may Allah be pleased with both of them, His Royal Highness and Her Royal Highness, were born into polygyny. So they are products of polygyny. I'm a product of polygyny. And I intentionally went into polygyny as a banker. I chose polygyny because I wanted to pursue my career and also stay married. So I went into it with full knowledge of what Islam, what the Quran says about polygyny. I did my research. And when it was time to marry this man, the love of my life, who was already married by circumstances, we missed each other and we came back. I told him, I said, in fact, he said he wanted to marry me. And I had suitors that were made single. And I chose him. And everybody was like, pretty woman like you, well-to-do, good family. Why do you want to take a second position? And I said, that is my choice. Because I want to share the journey of my life with another woman who, when I met, I told her, I said, first and foremost, you and I are Muslim sisters. Islam binds us before the man. So your intention towards me, Allah says, my intention towards you, Allah says, we don't have to be best of friends. We are not best of friends, but we are cordial to each other. And if we are cordial to each other, our dear husband, or my own dear husband, her dear husband, we live healthy, live long, and live well. So I made her understand that. I'm a year older than my co-wife. So I'm coming in with maturity of someone from polygamy home. My mom welcomed 2 wives after her. So my father had 3 wives. My siblings and I, my step-siblings, we're always 1 month. Maybe you are born on the 30th. The other person is born on the 31st. My mother's last born is sitting here. He's born 30th of July. My stepsister is born 30th of June. So my father's wives are always nursing. Always nursing. Out of his 13 children, I think about 7 of us have 1 month, 2 months in between. So I was more learned and understood polygamy or polygyny. So I made my co-wife realize that it can be sweet. We don't have to live together. And my husband knew from day one, I'm a very strong character. I'm what you call alpha sheep. I'm well learned. Alhamdulillah, I finished the Quran very early. So I know what Islam says I should do to my husband. So I know his rights over me. I know my rights over him. So from the beginning, we agreed. There are 7 days in a week. How many days will you spend with me? That was sorted out. We had a conversation about it. Then it came to equity. You know, somebody said it's only during their polygyny journey that they realize there's a difference between equality and equity. I've always known that there is a difference between equality and equity. I have 3 girls. My co-wife has 3 boys. Is a man not blessed? So when people ask me, how you cope? I say, we have 6 children. Because as far as I'm concerned, that man is responsible for 6 children. And alhamdulillah, he understood the assignment Allah has bestowed on him. And he met that out. Are there challenges? Oh, lots of them. Was there jealousy? Oh, yes, there is bound to be jealousy. But like I tell women, before you go into polygyny, there is something called self-awareness. Not just as a woman, as an individual, you must know yourself internally. Know your weaknesses. Know your trigger points. Know what you like, what you hate. Know your boundaries, what you can't take. I'm one person that I love praying in the night. I can spend the whole 7 days doing tahajjud. I love praying in the night. So when going into polygyny, that was one of the reasons I went into polygyny. Am I going to stay with the man? Every day the man is saying, how far? Then it's time to pray. And I'm like, I'm too tired to pray. No. You see those days that is not my nights? I spend them worshiping Allah. And when he's not with me, as far as I'm concerned, my husband travels. Even when he's in Lagos. All I demand from him when you wake up in the morning after prayers is do salam alaikum to me and ask me how the children are. Because you didn't sleep in my house. When you're in my house, I expect you to do the same thing to the other side. And one thing we got very clear at the beginning of our marriage is when he needs to talk to the other family in my house, he takes his privacy. He either goes to his car or he goes to another living room. He does not sit where I'm sitting and carry on conversation with my co-wife, discussing their destiny. It's wrong. Our men do it a lot. Because he does that in my presence, I also trust that when he's on the other side and he needs to talk to me, he won't discuss it in front of the other woman. Women are very petty and we count on nuances. Just the way the man comes in, your husband comes in, for God's sake, welcome my darling. Honor him like the king he is. Even if he has eaten on the other side. When my husband came to meet my father, may Allah be pleased with my dad. My father told my husband, I said, you want to marry Raleigh? You have to have 2 stomachs. Because one thing this my daughter does is, you cannot turn down her food. So even when he has eaten on the other side and he comes to my house, you will eat. When you are leaving my house, I'll say, eat for the road. So, my own love language is food. So sometimes my husband will come and say, see my stomach. People are complaining my stomach is big. Good living. Now the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. That is my own love language. And my relationship with my co-wife, like I said, is very cordial. The children are doing birthday, you send messages. Co-wife is doing birthday, you send message, you greet. It's Ramadan or Eid, we greet. We don't wear the same clothes. We don't visit each other unless there is a need for you to visit each other. What I've realized in my journey of 18 years is don't force friendship on another woman. Know yourself. It will come naturally. Time, they say, heals all wounds. Even when you say salam alaikum and she doesn't answer, keep saying salam alaikum. One day, you say, wa alaikum salam. That is where it starts from. But we want to force things. You don't need to force anything. And empathy, this thing called empathy. We are very selfish as human beings. This applies to both men and women. The men, I'm sorry, are extremely selfish in this triangular relationship. That is the truth. Because when you are toasting the subsequent wives, you make it look as if the previous wife has a defect that you are trying to come and correct. And my gender, because we are not moved by what we see, but we are moved by what we hear. So the sweet for nothing coming from the man. You are coming in as a subsequent wife thinking that, I'm coming to remedy the family. I'm the messiah of this family. I'm the favorite wife. Bullshit. You are deceiving yourself. If you already know yourself, you know you are going into that relationship to add value and complement them. You are not going there to displace the other woman. And I don't know the tradition in other cultures, but the part of the country where I come from, when a woman gets married, they give you a stool. The apoti that used to steal, to sit. So when you are marrying another, the other woman brought her stool. I brought my stool. I did not say shift, let me sit. Because if I say shift, let me sit, I might be bigger than her and push her off. But she's sitting and I brought my stool. We are both sitting together. She's sitting on her own, I'm sitting on my own. So the onus is on my dear husband to come and put his hand around the two of us so that he can live long. Now, empathy. We had I think my co-wife lost her mom, and I had to go and visit her. And she went for prayers, came. She was very devastated. And I was like, I can imagine what it is to lose a mother. My mother was still alive then. My husband was in my house when he was called that her mother passed on. So my days of the week went because he had to go and meet my co-wife that had just been bereaved, follow her to the village, did everything. Practically a week or so went. Do I expect him to make up those days? No. Because it is called force majeure. Nobody plans it in polygamy. The empathy. This woman is grieving. We all grieve differently. So the man had to stay with her for a week. Lo and behold, 2 years after, I lost my mother. I was not in Nigeria. My co-wife was not in Nigeria. It was only my husband that went to represent me. Because my co-wife could not come and greet me, she sent me money for prayers. When her mother died, I only went to greet her. I didn't give her money. But when my mother died, she gave me money. Remember, we are not best of friends. but we cohabit together. We are cordial so that our husband will live long. And because she's sure of her place and her position in her husband's heart, just like I'm sure of my position in my husband's heart. A lot of people, I'm sure this topic is what brought me out, for people to know that I'm a subsequent wife. People see me and my husband during Ramadan. We're always here bringing food and everything. The man supports everything I want to do. He said, Raliat, fly as high as you can, for I know that you only make me proud. When this topic came, when the invitation came, I sent the message to him. I said, Imam has an assignment for me. He said, Bismillah. He didn't ask questions because he trusts me that I will not only represent him, but I will say the truth as it is. So my prayers and my request goes to the men. Please, when you marry more than one wife, be fair. Fear Allah, who will all account for the day of judgment. Don't deny one materially, financially, sexually, emotionally. Don't deny the other. Don't think you are punishing your wife when you don't touch her. We always make fun that when a woman says no, she doesn't really mean it to touch her. And my dear sisters, please, your husband has not offended you when he takes another wife. The word I hate hearing in polygamy is, Tanya, you are a Muslim. Okay, he's only carrying out what he feels he should do according to his deed, according to the kadara God has written for him. If he does not marry you as a second wife, he will marry somebody else. And another thing, I will appeal to my sisters. We should tell our daughters. There is something the English people call prenuptial when you are going to marry. We should have this conversation about polygyny when you are discussing marriage. Please, mothers, encourage your daughters to discuss it. It is written, have the conversation. Let it be open that the man can marry, may marry. Today, the man will tell you sweet to nothing. I have a family friend that married a second wife 25 years ago. And 2 years ago, the man decided to take a third wife. The second wife went and sought for divorce. When we asked her why, she said because when the man was marrying her, the man promised not to marry another wife. Everybody kept quiet. Nobody was willing to tell her the truth. And when they were done, I called her and said, Auntie, they married on top of another woman. What did you think he told the other woman when he was marrying her the first time? Yeah, the only sugar in my tea. A woman that was selling elubo and helping the man to go to school. After they've been married for 20 years, they married you. Then 25 years after, you have enjoyed for 25 years. They are marrying a third one and you want to go and see. If you want to go, go. Go is hungering you before, so you can go. The woman actually left. You know what the children said? The children said, fine, mommy, you can go. We are not going anywhere. So the children remained in their father's house. The woman left the house. So sometimes we don't have the conversation. So when it happens unto us, it shocks us. And they will tell me, mental breakdown. Slap that mental breakdown out of your head. The day they circumcised that man, it wasn't only one woman that was standing there. So don't make the mistake that man is meant for you alone. As I stand here today, if my husband comes tomorrow and says, I want to take a third wife, I'll say, Bismillah, when is the fourth one? In fact, we joke about it. And I'll say, please now, go and marry a third. I say, you are looking for more freedom. I will not marry a third wife. Because he knows I'm comfortable in my feelings. And I treat him, like my sister said, it's a triangular relationship. I treat him as if he's the only one. When people see me and my husband, they are wondering, are you sure you have another wife? I'll say yes. I send him messages. When my husband is not with me, I don't call him. But I send him messages. I send him my movement. Same thing. Sometimes he will go, so it's the way you make it. The man will be running after you that you are the subsequent wife or the third wife. If you see this thing called jealousy, it's just lack of self-respect. Honestly, what does another woman have that you don't have? It's how you use what you have to get what you want. For me, we are all striving for the life after. We are all striving for Jannah. I will not let one jealousy deny me of going to Jannah. Because the man, on the day of Al-Qiyamah, you are going to be called Raliat bint Ibrahim. What have you done with your life? Are they going to say, Raliat, Oyetunde? No. The man will be questioned regarding how he treated us. But I will be questioned as me, as Raliat. So why let these petty things call jealousy? So know yourself, show empathy, and please don't involve third party in your marriage. Yoruba has a proverb that if something is wrong with you, they say, Shosheri. Somebody that is not in a polygynous relationship cannot advise you of polygyny. So don't take your matter to somebody that doesn't know how it feels. Please, because they will say, you will look bad. There is nothing called Orogun. It's what you choose the polygyny to be. I tell people, I'm a proud product of polygyny. My mother died. My sisters that were there, most of my friends that came there, didn't know that they were my step siblings. They thought they were my mother's children. When they go, they say, which of them is your mother's daughter? I say, all of us are my mother's daughters. Because that's the way I was raised. And that is exactly what I practice. So it is a good thing. We have a lot of sisters that can be subsequent wives that are waiting at the age of 45 to be an only wife. It is a dream. It will not come true. This stage that we are in. And please, sister, there was a sister in this community. 5 years ago, a Muslim brother was interested in her. So I reached out to her. I said, sis, come. Somebody is interested in you. The first thing she says is, Sister Raliat, I cannot share your husband with you. I said, I wasn't calling you to come and marry my husband. It's my husband's friend I want to marry you. So I've not even said it. She's already feeling threatened to come and share my husband. So what if I say, come, my husband wants to marry you? So sisters, I need your mind to be open so that we can complete our religion. Our foremothers, Aisha radiallahu anha, them were jealous. There is a story my husband likes sharing. I think Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had gone on a trip with his wife, and he has one wife that was very rich. I can't remember the name of the wife. And she had a spare camel to carry her load. And I think one of the other wife's camel got injured. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked the wife, my wife, since you have a spare camel, please let your co-wife carry. She said, no, my co-wife cannot use my camel. It's my camel, it's carrying my load. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to leave her because it's her property. So men that go marry women, please, if you are not financially able to cater for 2 women, please don't go into polygyny. It is very expensive. I'll tell you that for free. 2 wives, 2 in-laws. 2 wives, 2 in-laws. Please don't go into it saying that Allah will provide. No. Heaven help those who help themselves. So you need to be financially buoyant. Then please, let's empower our women financially. They could work from home. I can stand here to talk to you today because I am financially enabled. I am well supported by my spouse, by my friends, by my family. And I have a community. We call ourselves Thriving as a Subsequent. We are all subsequent wives. So we put ourselves together in a group. We call ourselves Thriving as Subsequent. So that those that don't have the wherewithal, the energy and the zeal like some of us that are alpha sheep, we can support them and groom them. Please, let's empower our women. This polygyny thing is not just about the men, it's also women finding their voices. That's one. Then lastly, please, don't make mockery of our affections. Women, when they love blindly. So don't make mockery of that affection. When you make mockery of that affection, you kill that thing in them that will have made you grow. And truly, if you are treating your wives equally, wallahi ta'ala, Allah blesses you beyond what you expect. If you are not treating them well, you always have comma in your affairs. It's something I have seen. And women, if the man is not financially capable, he won't help you look after the children. If the man died, so I need you people to have that belief that whether your husband is married to you alone, married to 1, 2, 3, you must constantly pray for him, for his survival, for his financial freedom, so that you can both live to old age. When I started work, my mom told me, please don't give me money unless you give your father first. So we are the ones to determine how our children turn out. So I gave my father money and I gave my mother money. If you are giving my mother money, let me see, how much are you giving your father? So it's women. So when they say, yeah, the man died, say, yeah, he has 2 wives. And please stop buying properties in Mr. and Mrs. Because tomorrow you might marry another wife. Buy the property in your name. It is your property. Let her buy her property in her name. It is her property. Please. Some people will buy Mr. and Mrs. 5 years down the line, you marry another one and say, Ajoni property and rara. We need to be realistic. So this and many more issues. If I could go on and on and on, but please, seek for knowledge, read widely before you go into polygyny, seek counseling, and most importantly, do a self-diagnosis of yourself before you go into it. May Allah use our affairs and forgive our shortcomings.
Raliat Oyetunde Ibrahim Oyetunde has presented hard facts. I hope our women will imbibe what she said and apply it in their marriages. May Allah ease our affairs, as she said.